Hello and welcome to the Grown Black Woman Success Podcast, a conversation about the joys and challenges that come with achieving success, all from a grown black woman's perspective. I'm your host, Leslie Denman. Let's get this conversation started. Now, though I may not know you personally, here's what I do know about you. You were created to win. And if you're not experiencing win to the degree that you desire in your life, grab your pen and paper, grab your favorite beverage, because I'm about to share with you 7 things that you can do to win today and every day. Number 1, show up. No matter what happened the day before, every morning is a new opportunity to be better than you were the day before. Show up in all of your beauty, show up in all of your power, show up in all of your strength, show up in purpose. Don't dwell, deal. What do I mean by that? Don't dwell on what could have happened, what should have happened. Become solution oriented and do what it takes to make it happen. You were created to win. And if God allows you to wake up, you have a responsibility to get up and show up. Number 2, establish a morning routine. Successful grown black women do not allow their day to just happen. No, they get up early and they set the intention for the day. They set the intention to empower themselves spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically. Whether they work out, journal, meditate, prayer, it doesn't matter. Develop a morning routine and be consistent. Now I'm going to share with you my morning routine. Typically Monday through Friday, I'll wake up about 6:30, 7 o'clock. I immediately go to YouTube and I turn on Dr. Cindy Trim's prayer, spiritual warfare and blessing. Now if it's the weekend, because I have more time, I would go to the atomic prayer. The spiritual warfare and blessings prayer is about 35 minutes or so. Once that's done, I'm in a really good place and I turn to praise and worship. Now I have about 5 to 6 songs that I listen to in this particular season because I pick songs based on what I'm desiring, what I'm needing for God, the spiritual attacks that I feel like I'm under. And so all the songs kind of, they are an extension of it's just kind of like an extension of the prayer. In this season, from August until present, I've been listening to about 6 songs, and I'll share them with you. Anita Wilson, I Love You, Jesus. Brian Courtney Wilson, All I Need. Brian Courtney Wilson, Worth Fighting For. Zacardi Cortez, You Just Don't Know. Brian Courtney Wilson, You Make Me Rich. And Charles Jenkins, Keep the Faith. And so when you listen to the words of those songs, you can kind of get an indication of the spirit and the rhythm that I'm in and what it is that I'm really desiring from God. And again, every season is different. And this season, I am desiring to make sure that I am in alignment with God's plan and purpose for my life. I am strengthening myself to fight a battle that I feel like I've been in for a minute, but I feel like I'm only coming out of it. Does that make sense? I'm coming out on the other side. So I have to remind myself every day that no matter what it looks like, that God has got me. And this is how, and I ended with Leslie, just keep the faith. No matter what it is, just keep the faith because God has plans for you to prosper. Don't look at what it looks like. Focus on what is, because in the end, you win. All right, now an attitude of gratitude. That's another thing that you can do to win today and every day. No matter how things look, there is always something to be grateful and thankful for. Life is not perfect, but in everything that we do, there is a lesson that we can learn. And when you develop an attitude of gratitude, you'll look at some of the darkest circumstances and say, you know what? It could have been worse. You know what? God has brought me through that. You know what? There is somebody else that could take what I'm in and win with it. And so I'm grateful just to still be alive. I am a 2-time breast cancer survivor. And so I'm every morning, I open up my eyes. I'm like, God, I am so grateful to be alive. thank you for that. There is nothing that you can change about your situation with a negative mindset. But if you switch it to an attitude of gratitude, you give God permission to move. You create the energy and the atmosphere for the miraculous to happen. If you want to win today and every day, maximize your time. Stop making excuses and saying that there's not enough time in the day, because we all understand that we make time for the things that are important to us. But let's be real. Life happens and sometimes we are stretched. And here is a secret. Now, I've shared this with you in a conversation before, and it just bears repeating again. If you want to maximize your time and feel like you're getting some time back, learn how to say no. Now, it may be a little uncomfortable at first because people are used to having access to you, but learning how to say no nicely but confidently, I'm telling you, it is a game changer. No to things that don't add value to your life. No to things that are not in alignment with your purpose. Simply saying no. It will free your mind and it will free up some of your time. Learning how to set boundaries is key to maximizing your time. People, for the most part, they mean well, but they will eat up all of your time, gossiping, murmuring, venting, wanting to pick your brain. And it's not all bad, but it can be a time waster. And so you've got to use wisdom and maximize the 24 hours that you have in a day. Now, when I discovered that high-level grown black women, they account for not just every hour, they account for every minute. They know how much they're worth down to the second. That was a game changer for me. It had me up-level my thinking. And then I was reading an article in which Mark Cuban was saying that he does not attend meetings because he thinks that they are time wasters. He said if the meeting does not end with a check being written, he typically doesn't take the meeting. Again, learning how to maximize your time. If you want to win today and every day, set goals, not just in January and not just in December when the new year is coming and you promise it's going to be different this time, but set weekly goals. If daily goals is too aggressive for you, set weekly goals and then create the objectives to make it happen. And then execute. Do something to make it happen. Set goals. Don't make excuses. Now, there was a time when I was good at making excuses. I had a lot going on in my life, and if you were looking on the outside, you'd be like, girl, yeah, you got a lot on your plate. But the truth of the matter is, one day in particular, I was having a grown black woman conversation with myself. There was a goal that I really wanted to accomplish, but I was just telling myself maybe I need to push pause. And actually, I was a little tired, but I was more lazy than tired. And so it was around 11:15-ish or so, and I was talking to myself and saying, okay, I'll get up early in the morning, go do it, or maybe I'll do it on the weekend. And finally, I was just like, get up and go do this now. I don't know, I just get up and go do it. And so that's what I did. I got dressed and I went and handled that business. And it was before midnight when I finished it, because I remember saying, yes, I completed it before the day was over. And it was just so freeing to me. Like, I felt a sense of accomplishment. I want you to think about the thing that you needed, the thing that you really needed to do this week, that you may have made an excuse for up until now. Go ahead and make it happen. We are not promised tomorrow, but many of us live like we are. Get it done. Set goals. Now, this one is a big one. If you really want to win today and every day, learn how to let it go. Now, this is another thing we've had a conversation about, but it bears repeating and it bears me reminding you. Let it go. Let go of the pain. Let go of the rejection. Let go of that man, that woman, that situation. Just let it go. Now, I've allowed myself to experience the emotion. This is just part of me and my journey. Depending on what it is and the degree of what it is, I give myself permission to experience the emotion for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, and on rare occasions, and typically try not to be more than 24 hours. So when I embrace a new day with new mercies, I let it go. If I haven't let it go before I went to sleep, when that morning comes, I let it go. I speak it verbally. I let it go. And typically when I let it go verbally, my spirit and my mind soon follow. Learning how to let it go, releasing people to their highest good, looking for the lesson in the situation, thanking God that I survived it, and just letting it go. That is a win. You want to win today and every day? Bless someone. Woo, this one is powerful. Bless someone. It doesn't take much. A genuine compliment. And here lately for the past month or so, I've been just blessing people, just sitting in Cash App and say, hey, have lunch on me today. Just simple things without any expectation and without any attention, just blessing people, because I know that when you bless people, God will bless you. And honey, that is a win. And so I want you to think about your life right now and the conversation we've just had. What do you need to do? Do you need to show up? Do you need to establish a morning routine and be consistent? Do you need to develop an attitude of gratitude? Do you need to maximize your time and quit making excuses? Do you need to set goals and really execute? Do you need to let it go? Or do you need to just bless someone? You know, sometimes just calling and checking on someone, say, hey, how are you doing? You were on my mind. And let me just pray a prayer of blessing over your life, because many people don't tell you what they're going through. But if you've gone through anything, you know that everybody is going through something. And just saying, I'm thinking about you and I'm concerned about you could be your way of letting them know that God hears your prayers, he's concerned, and he's working it out. Now that is how you win today and every day. And I want you to pick one and try it on for size. And if you really want to challenge yourself, go ahead and email me, Leslie at, and listen to this, y'all. I'm so excited. I can't wait to share this with you too. This is a good place. Leslie at grownblackwomansuccess.com. Yay! We now have a website. Y'all have to tell y'all real quick how this whole thing came about. The Grown Black Woman Success Podcast was a way for me to honor my father. In a previous conversation, I shared with you how when I was about 11, my father shared with me that I had 3 things going against me. He said I was a Christian, I was black, and I was a woman. And he said that it's some things that could be overcome, but it could be challenging. And so I was thinking, how could I share the life lessons and principles that my father shared with me? How could I share that with other people and reach women around the world? And so that's how the whole Grown Black Woman Success Podcast came about. I was looking for the title, and that conversation came up in my mind, and I was like, perfect, that's what it is. So it's not about being anti anyone else. It's simply about me honoring my father and sharing the principles that he shared with me that I know to this day work. So I'm talking with God, and I'm like, okay, God, so what else am I supposed to do? Am I on track? Because I try to check in with God early and often to make sure that I am in his will and that I'm doing what he created me to do in this moment, in this season. And I'm sitting there, and I heard him say, get the website. And I was like, what? Get the website? But I've learned not to argue as much. I used to go back and forth for a minute, but I've learned. And so I simply went and got the website, grownblackwomansuccess.com. God is saying there, I'm calling you to remind people of how simple a relationship with me is. There is a lot of religious noise, and I need my women and my girls to understand how simple it is to engage with me. And I got really emotional thinking about that. He said they're struggling, they're tired, and I get it. I hear them and I understand. And I'm sending you to walk with them step by step the way that I have walked with you. I want you to share that with them. And I immediately, and I'm going to be honest, I immediately started thinking about how I'm not equipped to do that. Because what he showed me was big. And I sat with it for a minute. Honestly, be honest. I got the website. I didn't do anything with it. And then I was on my way out of town last week. And I got a phone call. And it just shook me to my core. Because a family member had passed away. Unexpectedly, just totally shocked me. And I was shaking really all weekend. So much so I was even late for church on Sunday. Because I was trying to get myself together. Every time I think I would get it together, I would start thinking about the circumstances, and it was rough. And I'm sitting there, and it was an amazing anointed service. And there came a point at the end where the elect lady got up, and she was just saying that the atmosphere was set, the spirit was ready and ripe for us to just go before God and just ask anything of him. There was just this spirit of freedom in the room. And I'm sitting there and I just close my eyes and I lift my hands and I just say, God, I just want peace of mind because this hurts, right? I was really hurt by this. And then I made 2 petitions to God, and I said, and God, when it comes to grown black woman success, what am I supposed to do? And that was it. And I'm sitting there, and about 10 seconds later, this woman of God walks over to me. And I can't remember exactly how she said it, but she said, God is granting you peace of mind. Whew. God is granting you peace of mind. And your steps have been ordered by the Lord. You know what he's told you to do. You heard what he said. Now you go do it. You don't need approval. You don't need anything. You simply need to do what he told you to do. Y'all, I lost it. And not like outward expression, but inwardly, I just wept. Because in that moment, I really needed to hear from God. I really needed to hear from God. I needed peace of mind. I needed to know that what I'm doing is really about the kingdom and not about me. And so I accepted it. I received it. And I went home really in peace. And I started working on the website. grownblackwomansuccess.com. And while I'm working on it, God is like this. I was like, okay, is this going to be like a coaching program? What is this? This is me having a conversation with God. And he was like, no, this is going to be a movement. I'm calling you out to the nations. I need you to go out and get my women and my girls, and I need you to show them how to experience success in a very simple, authentic way. And I'm like, well, that I can really do because I am really all about simplicity, right? But God, a movement, that's a lot. And he was like, don't worry, I'm going to send you who you need. I'm going to send you the women that you need to make this happen. And so I said all of that to say that the Grown Black Woman Success website is up. We're still working on it, but it is up. So go check it out, grownblackwomansuccess.com. And here's what you'll notice. You'll notice that there is a place for you to join. Scheduled right now to officially launch in January, not July, in January. However, I want you to go and join so that we can launch together. This is not about me. I want you to join the movement and then also consider becoming a guest blogger or contributor. There is a space for you to share your expertise and your wisdom. So go check it out, grownblackwomansuccess.com. And listen, here's the last thing I want to share with you. Drum roll, drum roll, drum roll. This week's winner of the Grown Black Woman Success custom t-shirt is OG Kenneth Stewart. Now, I know that Kenneth Stewart of Dallas, Texas is a grown black man. However, his wife is a grown black woman, and I am sure he is going to bless her with this custom t-shirt. Thank you all so much for tuning in, listening, and sharing. And next week, in 2 weeks, it could be you. So share. Sharing is caring. You can listen on iTunes. You can listen on Google. You can listen on the website. You can listen on mostly all the socials, particularly YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. I so enjoy having these conversations with you. You don't know how much it strengthens me. And thank you for joining. And until our next conversation, chin up, shoulders back. Now strut, girl. You know you got it like that.